Hello, come, join me in this eternal moment here, now, and always, as we aim to explore esoteric truths. Welcome to Astral Escapes. On this channel, we aim to develop your metaphysical practice, reconnect you with your divine essence, and further you along your spiritual journey. Get ready and buckle in. Hello, everyone. So, today we're going to talk about the state of vulnerability, with the intention of moving from a negative perception of this to the correct reality of it being a creative tool. So, in today's culture, it is often under the assumption that material progress is the be all and end all, and that is all that matters, and that is the only realm where creation takes place. And I want to dig a bit deeper into this and aim to shed light on the holistic view of the totality of our reality and the metaphysical practice underpinning these states of vulnerability that is often looked down upon or ineffective or regressive. So, coming from an intellectual state of consciousness or intelligence or perception, it will always look to go in an upward trajectory, preferably as quick as possible. And this is reflected in society. There is this pressure, there is this sort of entrepreneurial enterprise, which of course is important, but it reaches a point of overshadowing the holistic picture of reality and overcompensating for a neglected piece of the creative and or metaphysical practice. So as humans, we have good days and we have bad days, but culturally it is not deemed necessary, productive, or essential, or productive towards modern day life, because we want to go like this. And much of society, to be fair, has gone since the Industrial Revolution with technology, and increasingly so. We have solved a lot of problems with technology and the intellect and logic of reason, because of course it is a piece of the creative process, and of course it is equally as valuable as the emotional state or having periods of vulnerability, i.e. introspective periods, integrative periods. So with that said, we're going to talk about the abstract side. So you've got the left side of the brain, logic and reason, and then you've got the right, which is more abstract and mysterious. And we'll dive deeper into these states and become more prevalent in these states of vulnerability, and will be used this right hemisphere of the brain as the creative tool. So it is important to understand that in these states, when you're feeling low, weak, you're just not, there's something not right, you're slowed down, you're lethargic, you're sensitive is a big symptom in these moments. You're just feeling a little bit that you can't put your finger on it. It's just this uneasiness, you feel a bit vulnerable, you feel a bit out of sync. So it's in these moments that presence is ever important, and to not just heed to the intellectual perceptive, which these states are unimportant, unproductive, and we need to resist them and kind of just focus purely on the material realm. The material realm will focus on 1 + 1 = 2, and it is very straightforward and has its merits in the creative process. However, in these states of vulnerability, we're looking to integrate the higher into the lower, ultimately holistically recognizing the totality of your reality and your position as mediator or as a divine instrument between the heavenly and the earthly. So, to make it simple, in these states of vulnerability, you are looking to fundamentally release the blockages, the emotional trauma, karmic patterns that you are playing out, that reside within you, that are playing out in your material reality, and you're looking to sort of clear this out in order to channel that divine inspiration into yourself, into your divine instrument, and externalize it into the material world, thus fulfilling the creative process and fully embodying your metaphysical practice and responsibility, because it is a responsibility. As technology, as I said earlier, has risen us, we are reaching a critical point where the inner and outer realms are not matching up. And you see that culturally, you see that people with depression, you see people disenfranchised, you see a lot of friction, you see lots of disparity, you see lots of chaos, dysfunction, because we've put technology and the material world on this pedestal, and we've neglected the human vulnerable aspects of us, and we've shamed them and we've fragmented them. We've kind of idolized this entrepreneurial enterprise and material progress, which of course is important, and then we've shamed and demonized and fragmented this emotional abstract part of us, which is equally as important. There must be a reunion of these two spheres, a reunion of the heaven and earth through the divine instrument, i.e. the human self, and through this holistic metaphysical practice, we are aiming to transmute from chaos into order. And it is important that we recognize the holistic nature of our reality and to not get lost in the weeds of this material distraction, and to understand it as a canvas on which the soul or the heavenly body or the divine inspiration can channel into your divine instrument onto the material canvas. So it is this almost this trickle down effects. By embracing, confronting, and integrating these states of vulnerability, i.e. emotion, i.e. abstraction, i.e. the right hemisphere of the brain, you are clearing these blockages, these emotional blockages, these traumas, and then with your left hemisphere of your brain, the logic and reason, intellect, you are looking to then communicate, convey, and paint these metaphysical musings onto the material canvas. And this is something that is not new. This is something that, of course, has been used throughout history and was once and has, and we've sort of deemed it unnecessary because obviously, we've got a phone now, we've got internet, we've got rockets going into Mars, and of course we want to keep these ambitions and enterprise within the context of creation. But we've almost sort of looked down upon our emotions and our humanly selves as almost unnecessary. The AI will save us. The technology will save us, but it can help so far. There has to be a dual expression the human side, the abstract side, the emotional side, allowing states of vulnerability to integrate the holistic nature of your emotional state to then effectively create in a material world. This is something that I for sure reckoned with in my younger years, because obviously you listen to culture, you listen to society, you listen to school and university and business leaders as such, and you think, right, well, if I do X, Y, and Z, 1 + 1 = 2, I take steps A, B, C, I'll get to D, then of course the sky knows no limits. You're going to succeed. And of course that has its utility, and it did have its utility up until it reached a point for me personally. And you see this reflected in the world with people with, as I said, with such symptoms as depression and disenfranchisement. And it got to a point where my inner world, my emotional body, was not aligned, was not as sophisticated, or that path wasn't progressed as much as my material world. And so there was this disharmony, this disbalance, there was this fragmentation. I'd 100% had boxed my emotional state and my emotional responsibility and my emotional voice, and left that part of me unheard, and I placed it well and truly out of the picture, and I fully focused on this material pursuit. And I forgot the natural order of the totality of my reality. And I just sliced it in half and kind of just wanted to deal with the clear and obvious, and was afraid and unwilling to face the abstract part, the part where the emotional part, where it's this sea of vulnerability, this place where the intellect has no control and never will, and will never understand the utility of it. It is this state of constant movement, of constant fluidity. It is a state of abstraction. It is artistry. It really is. It is a form of intelligence that really is profound and really produces wonders in unexpected ways. And it is not something you can just pin down, pigeonhole, control. It is a fluid state. It is constantly responding and reacting to your stimulus and your interactions with it. And the more you listen to it, the more you can have an ear to it, and the more you can learn to create with it. Because you're going to because through this metaphysical practice, you're going to listen to it, and you're going to learn through its musings how to transmute chaos into order. And that is the most crucial part of it. Because if the intention is not there, then through complacency, which you see a lot of in the world, you tend to become comfortable in that state, and you sort of identify as the victim who is vulnerable and who is weak. So it's important to distinguish your relationship with this state as a means to a productive end, a healthy relationship with your vulnerability, rather than escapism from your duty and karmic responsibility. So with that, I would invite you to see next time you are feeling vulnerable or sensitive or out of sync, and learn to see it as an opportunity to further yourself along your metaphysical responsibility and karmic duty to help, in this day and age, restore the balance, transmute order into chaos, and to deliver divine prophecy through reconnecting with your divine essence, and to transmute that through your clear channels, i.e. the divine instrument, onto the material world that is the canvas for your soul's expression. How exciting is that? So I'll leave it there, and until next time, have fun with what I've said and see what forms of creation you can come up with. Bye.